In this video, we're going to show you all about Logic, how I set my template up, and tips and tricks which will help improve your workflow along the way. So let's jump in. As you all know, when you open Logic, an empty project will come up like this, and it prompts you to have certain settings, but what I do is I change mine, especially like the tempo, because I don't really write to 120. So what I'll do is I'll put that straight up to like between 124, or if I'm making more sort of faster, more energetic music, tech house or techno, I'd ramp it up. But usually I put it about 125. The key signature there, you can select the key signature, which some people might not find very important, but this actually, it helps, because if you ever use Apple loops or when you're previewing any of the loops, it puts them in time and it also puts them in key, and you can select that. You can select the key of it and when you listen back, so that's quite helpful. Usually my tracks are in G, G minor, D, depending on what I'm doing. If I'm doing a remix, it ends up being something totally different, whatever the key of the track is. But yeah, I'll start off by doing that. Keep the time signature 4/4, unless I've been making something like sort of film score stuff or anything with a different sort of signature, but I keep that as it is. My output device, depending on which output device I'm using, whether it be my Prism Lyra or the Ferrofish, but I use the Prism Lyra, just that's your normal standard core audio device which you use. I just keep that on that. The input device is the same, unless you're recording in synth, and then you might want to select your inputs for your synths, but primarily it's just for your inputs on your sound device. 44.1, you'll probably find a lot of the samples from the major manufacturing sample places are all 44.1, unless you're going to like the higher end stuff. Frame rate, that's all frames per second. That's to do with your video. You probably won't use that, just keep that as it is. And surround format, that's again more if you're doing cinematic things, but standard is stereo, so we're just going to do that. So yeah, I'll just choose the empty project. Instantly it might come up with this. If it doesn't, it might come up slightly differently. If you're new to Logic, there's some advanced settings you need to tick. So if you look at those and just highlight the advanced ones in the settings, and it'll bring up some more options. So if you're looking at this thinking, oh, mine looks different, that's the reason why. And so first of all, what I would do is just create an audio channel of, let me just have a look, check all the settings, everything's the same. You can put a number of tracks, so if you wanted to say put 5 or 6, and you can have them, your audio outputs ascending. If you want to tick that box, it actually has ascending numbers, so if each stereo channel was a different output, you could do that instead of you having to then make, say, 5 channels and then go into each one individually and put it to the next one. So that just saves a bit of time. But standard procedure, normally in the box stuff, you use just 1 and 2. So if I just create those 5, throw those in, that's just to get me going. So the first thing I'll do is show you the little things that I've learned over the time, which will really help. Well, help me anyway, because it just helps improve your workflow and your speed and everything, and even visually it really helps. So the first thing I've got is, this is so simple, but some of you might have seen it, some of you might not have, and it's right click mouse button. So when I click inside Logic, you can see this screen comes up here, and it's very, very basic. And to save time, what I would do is I would go straight up to Logic, Preferences, General, and then in here I would go over to Display, and there we go, Display, and instantly look. The first thing I would choose is wide playhead. So I would click that, and if you can see that the playhead, I'll just move it to the middle. It's something so small, and it's not a massive thing, but for me it just helps. So if you set your template up or your Logic project like this every time, how I do it, it's just you get used to that sort of setup. And then, like, if I ever work on collaborations with people, it's really weird because all these little settings aren't on, and I'm just like, it feels a bit alien. But that's really good when you've got a busy project, and also you can grab it quite easily when it's a wider playhead, and you can see it changes. So that's just one little thing that really helps. Over to the next one in the editing. So over here, if you click General, Editing, and then if I look down here, you see where it says right mouse button. So what I was saying earlier is when you click it, it's very basic. You can't really get that much. You can just do the sort of general thing. So what I do is go to this, and you can change this. It's an assignable tool. So if you go to that, whatever's assigned up here, you can have 3. So if you wanted to, say you were a massive fan of the eraser tool, what you'd do is you'd have that as your right click, and then you could just like delete anything you want with that, and it'd be a lot faster than going up there. I know you can press escape, and you can press the numbers across the top, which correlate to the down here, but I rarely do that. So, but on this one, what I do is I make sure this is open tool and shortcut menu, because this just saves a lot of time. So when you're in your project, I right click on that and everything comes up. So if I'm really like balls deep right in the bottom down here, say right at the bottom down here, and I wanted to just, I was working on something really specific in the bottom, I don't have to go all the way back up there to then go all the way back down and things like that. You can just click it, fade tool, and then onto whatever else you want. Just there we go. And it's just these little things really help you. And once you've set it up, it's one of those that you'll never need to do it again. Oh yeah, so a really helpful one is, let's have a look into this. I'll just get some files, some audio files. I've just got, let me just chuck one of these in. I'll just chuck anything in, just one of these from Loop Masters, a drum loop. 127, and you can see from earlier that at the top here, the 125 is the tempo which I set at the beginning. So I'm just going to actually put in a 127, which will go in there. These will actually, it's asking me if I want to add the audio files tempo information, which I'll just press import. And because these are like Apple loops, they've got the information of the tempo and everything and the pitch and things, it automatically like time stretches to time. So you can see if I zoom right in on the on there, you can see it's bang on number 3. So you don't really have to do anything with that. You don't have to time stretch it or anything. But yeah, so what I would also put in here is the fade tool click zones. So if you click that on there, if you highlight the pointer tool in Tracks provides on that one, what that does is, I'm sure if you're familiar with like Live or Cubase or any like Pro Tools, you'll see there's usually a node around that area which you can drag in, and this is really handy in Logic, because you'll find when you slice audio in certain areas that you'll get a click, and that's where the audio's not quite hitting the bass line. So it's really handy. So having that on then just enables you to have, let me zoom out on this. It just enables you to go up there, and you'll see the icon changes slightly like that, and then you can just fade it in. So it's really useful for like if you want to fade out a lot of audio on build-ups, breakdowns, things like that. But it's just a great tool to just be able to just quickly go like that. And there's another alternative way you can do it. You can go up to here on the side, just close the help, and if I go into more over here, so if you select the audio you want, there's a fade in there where you can just put whatever amount you want in. So if I want 5,000, I want it to fade in by, I just click that. So, but again, just having this here is quite useful. So if I just wanted to create a few, you can just select them and then just crossfade. So you can crossfade them like that, or you can just go to the ends and fade them down. It's really useful for like shaping drums as well and things like that, and bits of audio that just might, you might have cut, that you might just want to take the click off. So if I just go to this and show you, if I zoom right in, you'll see what I mean. You can kind of really get that tail there, and then it's not going to click on that part. So yeah, moving on, another useful thing I do on each time is, it's called a secondary ruler. Some people like to set up the transport bar at the top, like to customize it, but first, before I do that, what I'm going to do is head over into here, and if you click on view and then go down to tracks, where here there's an option called secondary ruler. There is a shortcut, but when you start getting into 4-key shortcuts, I get a little bit lost. So I tend to just stick to the 3 ones or the 2 ones. So I don't really know many of them, and I haven't customized them myself, because I stick to what I know, because then if I do a collab with someone and they're using Logic, it's the same, majority of the time it's the same shortcuts. But yeah, so if you go to secondary ruler, just tick that, and what you'll notice is at the top there's a time. So that's from the beginning of the track, and the time goes through. But you'll also notice at at the beginning, it says, like on that part there, it'll say 10020, and that effectively is 20 seconds, but it looks weird. So if you go over to up into, let me find it, into here, if you go up to your list and then go to tempo, and it's the SMPTE position. So that's especially useful for guys that are in the film industry, if they're doing a lot of the, you know, with the timing of the track going to the music, and you can lock that, you can lock all your audio so that it never changes, but it changes the grid and the SMTPE. That's another thing. I don't really deal with that. I just, you know, because it's all audio. So what I would do is, first of all, I would go into this and make sure that that's on 0. This is just a bit of my OCD-ness, just to make sure it works. But yeah, so I'd hit 0, change that 1 to a 0, and then press return, and then at the top it's a little bit neater. It says you know, the right time there, so I'm not getting lost. Like, it doesn't say 1.11. Just wanted to let you know these videos are absolutely free. It's a 5-hour tutorial series, and that was one of the parts. So thanks for watching. If you would like to join the journey, subscribe. I've also got a playlist where I travel the world, and I also document it. I do vlogs. And the weird and wonderful world of a touring artist, the highs and lows and everything like that. So if you want to see that as well, I'll put a link below. But also the educational stuff, the mixing and mastering services are also in the description below. Thanks again for watching. Your subscription means a lot to me, and keep creative, keep making the tunes, keep, you know, pushing on, support each other. Much love. GAWP out.